Yo, it's X. It's 2023. Today we got a podcast from back in the good old days. We had our first podcast in 2021. It was just Aris, Cam, and I for What's Out. But today we got Corey on the line in Columbus. We got Cam in Cleveland. Aris, where are you at right now, brother?
I'm in Virginia right now.
And Aris is in Virginia right now. So once again, let me introduce Aris Brown. Aris, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing well, man. Just out here coaching here in Dallas. What are you up to? You still in school? You still training?
Yeah,
What you
so
doing?
I'm done with lacrosse. Now I'm kind of
Word.
just focusing just strictly on school right now. About to be leaving tomorrow at like 5 to go to Super Bowl, so Phoenix. That's about it. But
Let's get started with that, man. So tomorrow you're going to Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, where
yeah.
the Kansas City Chiefs we playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you have? And then I'll ask our NFL, man over here, Cam Crawford, what he thinks after you, Aries.
I'm going with Kansas City. I'm going with Kansas City. I don't think, Jalen Hurts is a great QB and they have a great team, but I think it comes down to the pressure of it and the comfortability of he's almost been to the, Super Bowl a couple times. So it's like he knows how that is, how to manage that pressure. He hasn't won all of them, but he's won. But I'm going with KC on this one.
Okay. Cam, who do you got?
Well, I can't count on Mahomes, but I don't know if his health or what's going on with that. So kind of got Philly. They got a nice defense and the offense is unbelievable. But don't count on Mahomes though, for sure.
And Corey, you got any hat in this race, buddy?
Oh, I don't even know, man. I'm gonna be honest. I do not know.
Hey, I got Philly, man. That's why I was already stumbling trying to say the name. I got Philly. I just think they got it one over Kansas City. I think Mahomes is injured a bit. Since he couldn't take advantage of it, I think the Eagles may be able to, but with Mahomes, you never know, man. That man is cold, man. Cold as ice, man. They do compare Kansas City a lot in articles to Golden State, and for like they're the Golden State of football. Any thoughts to that?
Fully.
I think so too. Their offense is pretty fast. I mean, they got a light skinned quarterback. Just like having a light skin,
No,
light
I mean,
skin point guard. So I
if
see the
you
resemblance. I see what they're trying to say.
look at Golden State, I mean, they have their key guy, which is, Steph, and then superstars. I mean,
For
that's the
sure.
same thing with KC, except, Tyreek Hill left, but they still got a lot of superstars on that team. So I think,
Yeah, I wonder what
Mahomes is
Tyreek
on.
doing now, man, over there in Miami. What is he saying now? Like, oh, well, he's still in Miami though. So I mean, I guess he all right, but for the glory, man, you could have been back at
I
the
know
chip.
he'd rather be on KC. If they paid him, he would be there, you
For
know?
sure. For sure. So Eris, man, how many times have you been to the Super Bowl, man?
I have been around 3 or 4 times.
Okay. And what was your
Normally
favorite
I
experience
go.
there?
My favorite experience had to be Miami. Miami was my favorite experience, and I'll tell you why. It was when we had Super Bowl in Miami. It was when I got to meet a lot of really really cool people. Like we were in a box right next to Shaq, Quavo, Robert Kraft, all in that one box. So it was got to meet all them and kick it with them, be cool with them and stuff. Yeah, mine was just a crazy experience. I mean, even LA, the one in LA, last year,
Yeah.
just being in that, being where, you see certain people, it's like, oh, that's cool, da da da. But seeing those guys that you're like, whoa, I've always wanted to meet this person, always what I'm saying? You see them on TV all the time, and you're like, dang, I would want to
And they're
meet
just
that
like
guy.
it's one after the other after the other. It's like
No, exactly.
everybody just there. Yeah, I
And
got
I
you.
don't I don't really get like, you know, starstruck like that over certain people.
Right.
But like when you see like, you know, I mean, the former president of the United States or something, you know, or I don't know, Shaquille O'Neal or something, you know, it's kind of like, whoa, like kind of crazy, you know?
For sure, for sure. And so Miami, LA, what were the other two that you went to?
Miami, LA, gosh, I can't even think because it was like it was like those were the back to back because the other ones like was when I was like
Younger.
14, 15. Because like mostly I couldn't go because of like school. Like that was like the biggest thing was like when I was like younger and like even like when I got older, it was because like either school or sports.
Yeah.
But, like I had to go a fat gap from going until like previously. I can't even think. Oh my gosh. I can't even think. I think it was like I can't even think of it. I can't even think
It's
of
all
it.
good. It's all good.
It was
What
like
would you say? What was your favorite, I guess, by game? What was your favorite Super Bowl game, if you could
a little
recall one?
game.
Yeah.
It had to be KC versus Tampa.
That was fire.
That was a
That was
crazy
fire.
game because we were leaving, you know, because we had like an escort going out for the game because it was like a lot of, you know, traffic, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, like they lost, you know, like it was came back and won. When we were like, we were watching the part of it when we were like in like there's like a tunnel to get out of like
Mhm.
the stadium. It was on the TV, and we were like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy, you know, like they came back and won. So that was like probably the craziest one I've been to.
Dope, dope, dope. I think for me, my favorite Super Bowl, I just got reminded of it on probably TikTok a few days ago, was Kansas, or no, it was excuse me, it was the Broncos, Denver Broncos versus the Seahawks, because that was when Russell won his chip and they like dominated the whole game. I forgot it started with a safety and then they just like ran through them, dude. It was pretty crazy. That's when they had everybody back in the day. That's when
Yeah.
Seattle was like OP.
The
They
Legion
were
of Boom.
the Legion of
Ooh.
Boom. They were tough. That was one of my favorite ones. And then the next year, that was when they played the Patriots. In the last second, they didn't run
That was
oh
the
boy, Marshawn.
no, that was I wasn't there for that one, but
Yeah.
watching that on TV, I was like, I low-key was like, okay, the Seahawks got it, like, you know what I'm saying? It's on the 1 yard line, they got the best, you know, running back, you know, at that period, like there's no other person you can go to. Bam. I was like, bro,
That
like
was so goofy. But okay, it worked out later on because look, check this out. So then the Patriots win or whatever, they go through, they're done with the giving the awards and everything. And then the local news, this is in Cleveland, local news comes on and they cancel school for everybody because we got hit with a huge blizzard. That just made that Super Bowl for me like legendary, just because I didn't have to go to school the next day. That was where it was at. Aris, I got a question. We're gonna pivot just a little bit. And then I'll let the boys have some questions for you. What lessons did you learn from playing lacrosse for Hampton?
sacrifice, you know, it's like you don't really know you love something until it's kind of you can't, you know, go back to it.
Right.
And I feel like with a lot of athletes, it's like the biggest thing that kind of like they have to realize is that like, what do you do after you're done when you can't play anymore? Let's say you're injured or you know you're you mean college is done, you know, you're not going higher than that. It's like, what are your real like hobbies outside of it? But back to what I was saying, you know, you don't really love something until it's gone. It's like, you know, all the insane amount of sacrifices to be able to, you know, compete and really be there. And it can be very like tough. Like it's very tough, like to wake up every day, you know, 5:36, still do everything that a normal student is doing, studying, class, participating in like, your community and all that. And then on top of that, like, you got a lift in the morning, film, practice. You still got to study at night too, do some homework at night, and then wake up really early. Alongside with like, you can't like really be like the normal college student as an athlete, like
Right.
you can't be going out to parties and stuff when you got practice the next day. And you have to like really be like I remember our only really off day was like Saturday. Like that was our only off day, bro. Because Sunday we'd have some optional
Optional.
practices.
Show up. Better show your ass up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
sober you're in trouble. But like, no, it was. I mean, I had a good experience. I just, I couldn't do it anymore for me. It
I
was
feel
just
that.
too
I feel
much.
that. So have you
But
found what works for you? What do you like outside of lacrosse? You've been doing it for so long. Do you know what you like outside of, the grind, really?
I actually like realized this about myself is that I like to be really productive no matter what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
I knew that once I was like stepping away from lacrosse, I had to, I have more extra time, and I was like, why not just continue doing something in business? Which is kind of like where the trading cards come into play, because I have so much more extra time now. Like my day used to be so swamped where like I would literally be tired every day and just want to just like take naps and all that. So now it's like, okay, I have this time to like really say, set aside things I'm going to accomplish by, the next 6 months or the next year and stuff like that. I recently just started playing a lot of more video games though as well. I'm not gonna lie. Got a PS5.
What you been playing?
Oh man, I literally just got back on GTA Online like right before like 2 hours ago. But I like to play a lot of COD with my friends and like Fort, Rocket League, God of War.
Hey, let's play
What
on Fort
else?
later on, but I'll put it off to the side. We definitely
Oh,
gotta
I'm with
play.
that. I'm with
Hey, we
that.
gotta play. We gotta play.
No, definitely. And yeah, so like basically just like spending more time, just like focusing on like exactly what I want, and not even just like long term, but like even short term things.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of about it though.
Word.
So that active lifestyle, do you think that's just something that you would have had no matter what, or do you think you got that through sports or anything else in your life?
Like you mean by like what I get to do and stuff like that?
Yeah, like it sounds like you always need to stay active. So like, is that something that you've gained through other experiences?
I think I kind of got that through my mom because like she's a very hard, worker. Like I see what she does and like, all the meetings she goes to and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, we're like we're in such a like a new type of generation where, you know, we don't have to necessarily go to college to do a lot. Like you look back 30 years ago, if you want to, be some type of like you couldn't be an influencer back then. You couldn't do YouTube back then. You couldn't do, so many different ventures. So it's like if you have the time, you might as well explore different options and like see what you really rock with and what you don't, because you never know what could happen. You never know what could happen. So I think that's kind of like where I got that from my mom, just like pursue different things because you never know what might stick, what might not stick, but kind of have like, long-term, short-term goals and yeah, just stay productive. That's the biggest thing.
What got your
It's
eyes on trading cards? My bad, Cam.
oh, you good.
Honestly, it was because I started seeing, okay, so like my dad, he does like a couple a year, right? And like I was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I met with one of the guys who works with Fanatics, and he was like, hey, like, you know, is this something you be interested in? And I was kind of like, I don't know, but I'm curious, it's pretty cool. Like I saw some of their other cards and I'm like, oh, I know that guy, like, And it's kind of like, wait a minute, like this is where like you can kind of use your connections to kind of benefit, you know. It's like if you have the connection, why not use it? You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I kind of just like that's kind of how it started. So it was kind of like I met with him, and then I met with one of his partners for lunch, and he was telling me more about what goes down and where they're trying to get to and all that. And it was pretty interesting. I never knew like it got that complex, and it definitely sparked an interest for me to continue like going with it. So yeah.
Very dope. We'll talk about that later on. My bad, Cam. You got it.
Yeah. Has coaching ever came across your mind to stay close to the game?
You said coaching?
Yeah,
Like coaching?
coaching lacrosse.
Honestly, no. I don't think I have like. If you want to be a coach, like you have to have like a strong love, because it's very tricky to be like the good coach, but also the respected coach. That's a very, very thin line, and like I don't think personally I could do that because I'm a competitive person. A lot of these kids now like aren't, I mean, that competitive like a lot of people like used to be. Like I remember
Yeah.
even like back in elementary school, I feel like people were way more competitive then than like people are now. I just feel like it's kind of like we have so many other things going on. It's just like, oh yeah, like this is cool, but it's not like I have a real strong love for this. Like this is like my real passion. You might have a couple guys like that, but it's like
And
you don't really see
they're
that.
like self-drive, like they just get through it. You know what I'm saying? If they
Totally.
got that love for it, they're like the engine that could, right? They keep going. But
Exactly.
try to motivate some of the other kids. They got so many other options in front of them. It is as a challenge.
Fully. Like I commend every coach that does that, but I couldn't. I don't have the patience, and I don't have like I can't motivate. I can't. You gotta love something. You can't. I mean, a coach can only do so much, and I feel like it's very hard to like break that point of like you don't want to break your player down, but you don't want him to like lose on the potential he might have. So it's like too many thin lines for me where it's just like it'd be too tricky. It'd be too tricky.
I feel that. I feel that. Let's get back to the trading cards real quick. So what advice would you give to someone that's thinking, oh, I may have a collection or here or there? Like what advice would you give to someone that wants to get into this? And when did you start getting into this? When did that meeting happen? Was this recent or was this like a year ago? Like how long was that ago?
I have a
Yeah,
collection.
so like if you have a collection, it's like very easy just to go online and kind of like see like the price points of like some of the cards you might have in your collection. So like, let's say you have a Bo Jackson rookie card, and let's say it's signed, depending on the condition, it can range, everything's graded. So there's a grading system, they get PSA graded, PSA 9, PSA 8, whatever it is. And you kind of can just like look up, kind of like some of the bid prices, some of the, highs and lows, depending on the grading of it. And that's kind of like where you can start going with that. And then like you can go to like there's certain communities. I know like in LA, there's certain stores and like that you can go to and talk to some of the guys and stuff like that. It's not the biggest community, but if you have like pretty good cards, like and you're willing to you can trade them, sell them, it's really not that complicated. So yeah.
Would you say it's similar to like watch trading or watch buying?
I'd say watch trading is a little different only because like you never know exactly if they're gonna make another watch. Or I'd say more of like I'd say kind of, especially like the higher end of watches, I'd say
Yeah.
kind of because with watches you can, the prices of some of these watches are just gonna continuously go up, depending on when it was made, the condition, stuff like that. So like that kind of ties with the trading cards because you can't make another rookie card, you can't
Right.
make another, original da da da. Da. So I'd say yeah, in that aspect. I think with watches though, it's like it's a lot harder. I mean, with how fakes are now, it's like very tricky, They're
It's
making things like really, really, really spot on now to where it's like, there's certain watches that like you can't officially authenticate anymore because like there's some, I mean, they're not going to be the ones that are like, 300,000, 400,000, but like, let's say like 30,000, 40,000. Like some of these watches are very, very, very hard to tell the difference with now,
right. Yeah.
So
I've been diving deep into watch trading and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I was asking. But that's super dope. And then one last part of my question: when did you start getting into this? When did you set up the meeting?
Yeah, so this started. It was basically almost the summertime, around like
Okay.
April, May-ish.
So like last spring.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, basically like the last part of spring. And the meeting happened like around May, and then we had another one around July, August. And that's kind of like where it started,
I feel that. Now,
So
one
like
last question.
fairly
Oh, my
recent.
bad. That's dope. One last question. My bad. Does your dad have a rookie card? Is there a Jim Brown rookie card?
Yeah, what's crazy about that is that we have like I got to be able to see like a couple of them.
And are they like paper thin, or do they keep it? Have they kept it like
Yeah,
together?
so they're all signed, graded, in like so when I say graded, it's like basically like there's certain companies that do it, they authenticate it, do all that, and then like they put like it's like a little plastic thing on top.
Yeah.
I have one.
Grading on like the right hand corner. So like they're on those like little like protective little cases.
Cam, you got a rookie card. You got what you got?
Not
What you
a
got?
not a rookie card. I have like two of them, two Jim Brown cards.
Oh really?
I have a whole briefcase of cards.
No
Like,
way.
hold on. Let me grab it.
Corey, you got anything right now while Cam grabs his collection?
Well, I guess I gotta ask, what's it like holding one of those cards, just like seeing that, and like, do you like think of the history that your dad has when you see these cards? And it's just like I'm just curious because is the physical aspect of having it in your hand just have any other feeling than like anything else?
To be very honest with you, like for me, it's just like okay, this is cool, like it doesn't really do anything for me, not gonna lie. Because it's just like okay, like it is very cool, to see the history and all that. But at the end of the day, like for me, it's like okay, it's a little piece of paper, like
Mm-hmm.
you know. Now I will say, like certain memorabilia stuff is like whoa,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
some Canton
the
type
other
stuff, right?
day,
Like,
yeah, like just seeing like you might have like a pair of gloves by Muhammad Ali signed, and like I mean, I have certain things I've gotten that
Yeah.
from back in the
What's
day.
your top? What's on the top of your list that you have?
Top of my list
Yeah.
from my pops or from other people.
Either one. Let's hear both.
Honestly, gosh. I would have to say Muhammad Ali, the gloves. I'm not gonna lie, it's like up there.
it's pretty
It's up
crazy.
there.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Yeah.
it's pretty
Like,
good.
like the go to boxing type deal got his signed gloves. That's dope as hell.
I'd also say who else? I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh, Bill Russell. Bill Russell. I have a jersey from Bill signed and everything from like a while ago. Like that's really
Yeah.
special. But like, there's just so many different pieces that it's just like you kind of overthink them. But like when you're like, I mean, when you first get it and you're like, whoa, like this is crazy, And like even growing up, Bill would come to the house all the time, and I looked at him like he was just family. And then when I started getting a little older, I'm like, wait a minute, like this tall dude that's like fucking yay high is like,
Got all he
one of
had
the
all them
goats of
rings.
basketball,
Yeah.
all those rings. I remember one
All
time
the
he even like, he came over like and like had the rings and stuff, and I was like, whoa, like these are cool.
Now, back in the day, I used to hear some stories about back the old professional players and everything. They would go in races. They would race each other. They would do foot races.
Yeah,
You know anything about that? Like your dad do any
I
races against anybody?
know. Yeah, I remember he did a race with Ali, and it's online. Run. It's funny because I asked him about the Bill Russell one, the one, or was it Bill or
Or was it Wilt?
I think
Who
it was
was it?
Wilt. I think it was Wilt. This one was Wilt. Them running they did like a race, and he didn't ever told me who won that race officially, but I know he said Wilt was really fast for his size. He was really fast and really strong. Like he was like, I mean, he told me that Wilt was like super being like, dude, like, when you're that tall, you shouldn't be able to run that fast.
Yeah, I think I saw this in a Wilt documentary. I think they said like, he was racing people. So that's why I was wondering. I was like, was your dad involved with like racing it at all? And then they would say, then they interview like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these like
Yeah,
lifters, and they go, yeah, man, he was out here just pushing weight like it was crazy. He was pushing weight like it was nothing. So I'm like, damn, like they were
definitely
was
one
your
of the
dad
top.
doing things like that? Like, was he like doing these competitions with the like where they all competing at times whenever they was hanging out or whatever?
Yeah, so like I mean, there was so much going on back then that like, some things you just don't remember anymore.
For sure.
But he would tell me so many stories, with just like, I mean, even like starting like music groups like, Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
like starting Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when I started Earth, Wind, and Fire, like, who knows about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, just like crazy stuff like that. And like, I mean, even just like stories of having like Michael Jackson being in the living room or, meeting and being friends with like certain civil activists and stuff like that. So I mean, I've heard so many stories that like, nobody knows, and like even Playboy Mansion stories and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
I feel that. I feel that. I was actually, sometimes, and I'll send it to you whenever I see it, though. But I'll see these funny ass like parts of movies or sketches that like your dad's a part of, and I'm like, yo, man, Jim Brown funny as hell, man. Like, it was like it was with the Wayne brothers or something like that, man. And your dad,
Yes,
like,
I know what you're
I'm
talking
like,
about.
yeah. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I think I sent you the TikTok when I saw it. I was like, man, your dad funny as hell, man.
Wow,
So like.
like it's his I mean, even like when I was like 10, 11, 12ish, like I mean, his like everyone always have a good time. Like him
Feel.
just like he's a very good storyteller. It's like the way he like talks and like, can like get a message through was like always really special to me because it was like some of the stories you'd have like chills for real. It's like, whoa, like that's insane. Like I never knew.
For
I
sure.
mean, he could just tell stories for days, like, and most of them would be like, I mean, even the ones on set, like when he would do movies and stuff like that, were just like, whoa, like I would have never known that. So it was, I loved when he would tell me stuff. We could be on the driving range and like telling me little things, or doesn't matter where. We'd play chess and talk and all that. But
Hell yeah, brother. Cam, you got anything for us, brother?
Yeah, so these are my most valuable cards. I got them all sectioned out in my little briefcase. So, you guys were talking about him earlier. Got Johnny.
oh,
Johnny. Hey,
dang.
that
Johnny.
is
Yeah,
clean.
that's clean.
Johnny.
And
So
you
yeah.
have them in good condition.
Yeah, I kind of I don't pull them out. I got KD.
Oh.
That's
shit.
signed?
Is that signed?
Yeah, it's on.
Dang.
Kevin Durant.
I got Braun. I got
Got a
two of
wild
them.
card. Ooh,
Yeah.
you gotta keep that one for a minute.
I got two of them, so if I sell one, I'm gonna have another one as well.
Dang.
Then I got some pretty. People I took them to, they said I got some pretty like valuable stuff. I got
No, you
James Worthy.
definitely, from what I've seen,
James Worthy. Who's that? Kobe?
Yeah,
I can't even see it.
that was James Worthy.
Okay.
I got Ozzie Newsome was pretty valuable. They said.
oh yeah,
This one, Bill.
Bill Belichick
Eh,
with the Browns. Yeah, that shit tough. That shit tough.
And they said this one will go for a fortune.
Let's see. Is that Otto
so,
Graham?
oh,
Oh shit.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, oh
That's
yeah,
tough.
oh
Then I
yeah,
got. They said Kobe's worth a pretty nice chunk of change too.
most definitely.
So,
You have some good cards, man. Like you have some like I was not expecting that. I'm
then
not gonna lie.
I got Bill Russell.
He came in. He pulled out the heat on you, Aris. He put out the heat
Oh,
on
and
literally.
he's still pulling them out.
you.
They
You
Bro, I
don't
got
got
Bill
stop.
Russell.
who else? I got Scottie Pittman.
That's Scotty. Oh, that's clean.
Can make sure you talking so that the mic can see you, or so that the camera can see you when you
Oh yeah,
bring
no
them out.
doubt. I got Tim Couch as well.
Let's go. Hey, my Tim Couch jersey still clean.
Bro, I
still
will wear that if
bit.
I were you, bro.
Hey,
I got another Ozzie Newsome.
This man got
I got
some
Clay
heat in that collection for
Matthews.
real. You
Clay
have some good
Matthews.
cards, man.
Hanford
What do
Dixon.
you want to do with them? You want to just like
I really haven't thought about,
he
Larry
keeping him in the
Johnson.
vote, Aris.
No,
I
for
mean, I
Let's
don't
real.
go,
blame
Larry
him. I
Johnson.
don't blame him because like those
Yeah.
cards, that you have specifically,
I
are
got
only
Bernie.
going to go up.
Bernie
Especially
Kosar.
if the guys are retired, the guys that
Oh
usually
yeah,
have like,
Doug Deacon,
damn. So you got a lot of Browns cards too.
legends. Then I got Eric McCaff. I got a couple of Eric McCaffs, and then my Jim Brown card is in that it's inside that frame I was gonna send to you.
Oh, okay.
So
Bet.
the card's inside the frame. So yeah, I got a Miles Garrett one that's in a frame
I mean,
too.
I'd love
And
to get that. Like, yeah, send me like I mean, if you want the card signed, just send me the card. I can easily just get that
yeah,
signed.
like I got like buckets. I got cards for days.
Damn. When did you start this collection?
I started it when I was like 13. So like my dad would get these like little he used to order these like little packages for me, and they used to like
Yeah.
send cards with it. So I'm like I better start saving these because like one day these cards gonna be worth a lot. So I just started just collecting them,
Smart.
and just putting them inside that little briefcase.
Right on,
So,
Cam.
yeah.
Right on.
That's kind of a hobby I really don't kind of talk about a lot, So yeah.
No, that's I mean that's a very powerful hobby.
No, yeah.
Hey,
But no,
man, Aris, you never know it, Cam. He pulled something out left hand. You know what I'm saying? That was
I was not expecting all that. I was expecting, a couple, but I was like banger after banger for real.
no, yeah.
So hey, Cam, hey, maybe you need to talk with Aris, man. Maybe y'all need to talk about trading cards later on.
No, for
Well,
sure.
I mean,
We
we talk
definitely
all
gonna
the
get
time,
together.
so it don't even
For
really
sure.
matter. Aris, what would you say? So you've been into different ventures. You tried out event planning, and you were really young trying out this event planning. What can you tell us about it, bro? Sounds event. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So basically, I mean, I started with one of my good buddies. He's like a brother to me, and like it was a little nervous. I was a little nervous because it's like you don't want to ever mix, business with like people you look at as family. You know what I'm saying? It can get a little tricky. But everything worked out well. We first started at like house parties, little house parties, made a little bit off that. We started moving up to like venues. First few misses, complete misses. Like when I say like you couldn't pay me to go in there, like complete misses. Like it was bad, you know what I'm saying? And it was really difficult because it's like you have, friends around you, and it's kind of like they wouldn't say anything, but would say something like, in like, like a passive aggressive way.
Right. So what was going through your head when you're taking these L's?
I was just like, man, like, what is it? Like, what am I like? In my head, I was like, you go from doing well at a house party, then go to a venue, and you're like, it's the same thing, it's just like
Mm-hmm.
a bigger space, but it's not. It's like you got to keep in mind that people don't, people like house parties more, because it's more of like a, special vibe you get, type thing. But like we thought we were doing everything right, but we weren't, And when we really sat down and we looked at the L's like whatever, I'm saying, it's life, you know, you
I mean,
can
that's
really
how you
control
get
what you
to
can
where you want to
control.
be.
No, fully. And when we really broke it down, we saw what went wrong and what we had to plan for. And the next one was a banger, Next one, the one we
Oh
really,
yeah.
really planned. And after the few L's, we went back to the drawing board and fixed all that, banger. And to see the people that like, that were like, oh, it's gonna be, just give up, just give up.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing
And
that?
how many
Embarrassing.
how many times did you have to hit the reset button on how you ran things?
To be honest with you, every week was a new problem. If we had an event, I would expect two things to go wrong, either a day or, an hour before the event, because so many little like parts went into making that event good, like when I say the sound had to be right, the visuals, everything had to be linked up. If someone forgot a mic, if someone forgot, the DJ forgetting his speakers, the this guy forgetting this and this and that, it's like, man, like, I'd always be on my phone like, yo, can someone go grab this, grab that, and it was stressful. I mean, we had Lil God, Lil Got It.
Yeah.
We had Lil God It, we booked him, and I got a call saying, "Oh, I'm in Atlanta," and he's supposed to be in LA at this time. He's supposed to be in LA. The party's the next day. I'm in Atlanta. Yeah, y'all need to book me a flight. And we're like, "What? You're supposed to be in LA? Like you're supposed to be in LA." So we had to like book him and his like little entourage, flight and a car and all that. So all that. I don't go to sleep at this point. Wake up at 6 a.m. to a call. Hey man, I'm not feeling well. I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm like, so we're down like thousands, thousands, thousands at this point because the flights, him, and we're like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? So last minute, we're like, you know what? Let's go to like this little other venue and just kind of like make it fun for people still, So we go down to this like little like indoor skate dope place, right? So we called up some skaters to come, skate, do some cool tricks, make people entertain, da da da. Called up some, local guys that do rap stuff. Turned out a good party. The following week we had Lil Got It come, we got him another, ticket and all that, and he came and worst performance of my life. Worst performance. His performance is terrible, terrible, terrible performance. But it was like stuff like that where it's just like, I can't do this anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too stressful, week after week, having to like top what you did last week and the previous week. It's a lot, when you start
Yeah.
looking at,
Well, what was some of the feedback you got week to week? Most of the stuff that like stood out to you that you still like think about now.
The biggest thing was like so me and my partner, we were kind of like, we like to be behind the scenes, but then when people start to like know like, oh, it's them, it's like you see certain people come like week after week and them walking out be like, yo, I had a great time, like thank you so much, made that worth it for me, because it was like, okay, like, I just made this guy's whole week and now he's gonna come back next week, and like week after that. So like, and we showed love to them, you know what I'm saying? Like there was plenty of times where I'd be like, yo, like, I've seen you a couple times, like you're like, here, we're gonna refund you, like coming for free, like type thing, because like they showed mad love. Like I had homies that like would not show love, like, they would try to bring like them and like 15 other dudes and trying to get an offer free. I'm like, bro, like, and this is when we just started too, and it was like, bro, like you expect all y'all to get in for free when like I had to pay for this, and this, like, you know. So like it was cool, you know. It was cool. Definitely showed me like the real ones and like the not real ones.
For sure.
Mhm.
Because it's gonna be like, oh well, oh, you can't take me and my closest 20 friends. Aris, why not?
Yeah, but
Like,
it got to a point where like I would have to turn off my phone like 2 hours before because I would have, you know, girls, dudes, and they would like say it in like the dumbest ways. They were like, "So, like, what are you up to tonight?" And after they know like I'm posting about my shit, like,
It's like, what you think, man?
Like, what you got going on? Like, you know, are you free? I'm like, bro, I'll just be like, yo, like, if I start turning my phone off and like, you know, because it got annoying. You know, you got like 30, 40 people calling and texting you, blowing up. Can you get me in? Can you get this first? I'm like, get a ticket. Like, you know what I'm saying?
type,
Now if it's like my real homies and like stuff like that, that's different, you know.
yeah, for
But I'm
sure.
saying like people I barely know for real like that.
Hey, Aris,
But,
man, I
yeah.
met you on the lacrosse field 3 years ago. You don't you remember me? Type shit. I got you. So going through that seems like it's so frantic. Like it's left and right. You dealing with issues. Are you grateful that you were able to do something that was that high stress? And now you know
most
that when
definitely.
you're in different issues, you know, you could definitely figure things out.
I don't regret it at all. I think as a 19, 20-year-old, that was like, I mean, like, we feel like the man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we feel like the man. Like, you know, we were able to like do whatever we wanted for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't really tell us. No was never an option. You know, we always found out a way of like, you know, figuring things out and like, you know, continuously like, you know, find another thing to do, whatever. But it was also like, I mean, making what we were making at that age was kind of crazy, you know,
Right.
especially like when we got like months down the line. It was just like, whoa, like it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for our age, I mean, it just shows you that it really just showed me that we started with zero and then we're making, you know, X amount. And it was like, what the hell? Like, you know, it was just crazy to me because if I would have just listened to what other people were saying, I would have not reached that point. I would have never experienced that. I would have never, you know, learned what I had to learn to get to that point, you know. It was a very like humbling experience to be able to like, you know, have one of your close friends and like do that with him and like, you know, go through the sleepless nights literally where we would just be like crunching in numbers, doing this and that, you know, on the phone, you know, all that stuff. So it was good.
My question was I
Yeah.
was asking about partnerships, like being at such a young age. How did you get these partnerships at such a young age? And like, what were your thoughts of
Oh, you
like,
mean like with yeah, so we got like we had two companies like alcohol, Mexi and this other one, I forgot the name. And that was crazy to me because like they like low-key knew we weren't 21 yet. And
yeah,
like it was kind of like, you know, like under the rug, like, you know, like just you know. But it was dope. Like we had like some like weed sponsors, we had some alcohol sponsors, you know. And that's where I was kind of like, okay, like this could be something crazy, you know. Once
yeah,
we started getting like reaching out, you know, getting emails and stuff, you know, da 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 da. Like we had like I remember it was my idea to hire some interns, and it was basically like, yo, go out and find some sponsors. You know, there's sponsors everywhere. You know, and they were doing it. They were doing it, and it was going great. We had a water sponsor. We had a tequila sponsor. We had a what's it called? The seltzer sponsor, weed sponsor, and like we were getting all this free product just to promote. So like we would include their stuff in like our videos and stuff like that, and like post about some of the things here and there. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Like it was like, whoa, like we're really getting like sponsored right now by like these different companies. And I mean, we almost got Red Bull. That was like kind of the craziest one. We almost got Red Bull,
wow,
but it didn't end up working out. But you know,
that's dope. And I mean, also, once again, you know, age doesn't have to always be a barrier to a certain thing. So for you guys to
most
go out there and
definitely.
do that, that's pretty impressive, man.
My thing is just this, like since we're in this generation where like you can literally do anything, just go out and try whatever you want to do. Like, you don't ever have someone just like, nah, bro, that's corny, nah, bro, whatever, da da da. Because that's the same thing they told, people like, Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross. Oh, you're
Mhm.
weird, you're corny. Okay, well, I can be the corny dude that's like making 200K a month off that corny stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Or like, I mean, anyone that's really doing anything that's like not the traditional route was looked at as corny as it, you know what I'm saying? Every
And those
big
those are the
YouTuber.
routes that become like a successful route. And also, like
Exactly.
I'm always like telling myself, really, it's just like, don't be scared of failure, just fail. Like sometimes
That's what I'm
I
saying.
try
Like,
to trick myself, just like fail, bro, just fail. Like who
fail because
cares?
like when I try to tell people like just because you put in hard work does not mean that equals to success. You can put in a ton of hard work, it doesn't guarantee you success. But you will learn a lot of things, along that path that if you didn't take those steps, you would have never learned. A lot of
Mhm.
things that like a lot of things we learn now, we might not need now, but we can use that, 3 years down the line. And you're like, wow, I was glad I went through that because now I can, move this way the right way. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
Feel that. Hey, well, it's dope. Any ventures that you want to make in card trading? So do you want to turn this into your own thing, or are you going to be working with other people? Like, well, how do
To
you
be
want to do that?
honest, I don't necessarily know. Right now, I just want to kind of work with others, just to, like, I know some stuff, but I don't know like the expert level. And
Right,
it's
of
kind of
course.
like I'm humble enough to like know what I know and not know what I don't know. I just
Hmm.
want to learn more, just learn more and like meet more people that like are really, really strong in this business. That's kind of like where I'm at. I don't really have anything else. Like, I'm not looking super farther down the line with it. I feel like eventually if I really loved it, I would definitely want to like, start my own thing.
Yeah,
But that would be something that would be, 10 years down the line.
for sure. And what are you studying right now in school?
I'm a finance major, finance. So
The money.
money, exactly.
Yes, sir.
But
And what got you to follow that path?
finance,
Yeah, was that your first intention?
honestly, it was just like, I learned so much in like high school, like through my mom, where I was kind of like, this is the path that like I just want to take because I just know so much about it.
Mhm.
It does, yeah, and like in my opinion, like for degrees are like not worth what they used to be worth. It's kind of like, okay, cool, you got a degree, but like it doesn't really mean too much in my opinion. I feel like you never know where you're gonna go in life and what path. And most people stray away from their degrees, you know. Most degrees are like, I mean, the ones, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, you have to have a degree. But I just think if you have a good money sense, I think you'll do well, just no matter what you're doing, because like, what you can write off on taxes, how you can, maximize your money and all that is like, I feel like one of the most important things to know, as a young entrepreneur or a young adult, because then you can, set this money aside for this, or, making ROI or whatever it is, or,
I do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so yeah.
I mean, that's the same thought process with me. I'm in the same major, so
Yeah, so it's like if you're good with money, you can't go wrong with that. But I have to get running. I'm so sorry. I forgot that
Money,
I have
man.
huh?
Oh
I have a
no,
t-
no, no.
here and I gotta get this thing done for I have a test I have to take when flying to Phoenix.
hey, duty
So
calls.
Hey,
yeah.
Aris, get that bread, man. Get to it. Get to it. Get your studies in right and have fun this Super Bowl weekend, brother.
Thank you, my man. I love this talk, and let's do it again. This was fun.
We'll
Of
keep doing
course.
it, man. Honestly, man. And we'll keep in touch regardless. So,
Most
yo,
definitely.
Aris, thank you, brother. We'll
Thank you, my
catch you.
man. man. All right.
Peace out, y'all. It's been What's Up. Deuces.